Are we live? We're live. Are we live? Live, live. Live, 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 live. Cool. Just wait for people to start coming in because otherwise whatever I say would be kind of pointless. Actually, let me move some shit around the studio because it's a little not optimal for what I want to talk about today or talk about show. I don't know. Give me a second. I don't know who I'm talking to, but yeah. Whatever. Oh god. Oh god. That's a piano thing. Hold on. Alright, so this should go here. And, God. I'm back. I'm 21 and I have back issues already, so. Is that something to worry about? According to everyone, yes, but according to me, no. Alright. How do we sit? There you go. Forgot how to sit for a second. Hello. If anyone wonders what we're doing, I don't know yet. Thank you. Thank you. I work like a lot on Okay. So, what are we doing now? What are we doing? Like why is this a thing? Why am I streaming? Because I'm like contractually obligated to do so. I'm not really good at like live performance. So hold on, how do I move this shit around? Yay. Okay, let's do this. So yeah, I'm not really good at like live performance per se. So like the one of the conditions for okay, cuz my fuck. Okay, let's start from the beginning. One of the conditions for the contract for production of the music video was to do 2 live performances or like live appearances, and like within I don't know, fucking 6 months from the video release. And so like I figured I asked them about it. I asked my supervisor about it, and they're like, can you? I was like, can one of those live things be a fucking live stream? And they were like, yeah, sure. So that's what we're doing today. We're streaming just to fulfill the quota, you know. Anyway, so for anyone who isn't aware, a song just dropped like, I don't know, fucking what would it be? Oh Jesus, an hour ago already. All right, yeah, a new song just dropped with a music video, and it's probably the biggest budget video that I've ever done. Which isn't saying much. The budget was not big, per se, but like, in comparison to the other ones where the budget was 0, this one has some money behind it. And I feel like you can tell it looks nicer. And like for me, what kind of sealed it all together was not only the choreography, but also the animation by Eingarten. Which is just the best. If y'all don't know, Ein is one of the people who does the graphic stuff for Porter Robinson, like the nurture stuff and the live kind of projections and shit like that. And I just happened to be a follower of my music, and I was like, this is perfect because like you already know who I am, you know what I mean? And it's nice. It feels nice to have like that kind of mutual recognition. So Ian, if you're watching for some reason, I doubt it, but like if you're here, you're the best. Fucking shout out, 100%. And also Corpus, Corpus the dancers, they did a great job. Um, and also one very exciting thing that I've been kind of keeping under wraps because of just timing and like shit like that. As you can see on that music video, I'm using a different instrument. I'm using, I guess you could say, a new instrument. And that is because, as of today, like as of the release of this video, I am officially an Aria Guitars endorser. So the Aria from Japan were kind enough to provide me with their what is a 615 Nashville GH, which GH is like, of course, in reference to George Harrison, because it's a rosewood top, and like it's based on the look of the George Harrison Telecaster, but with the Nashville configuration. I don't know if you can see it. This kind of shitty lighting here. So what does Nashville configuration mean? It means it's got a middle pickup, like a Strat style middle pickup, which, frankly, for me, I didn't know how much I needed it until I had it. It's like a fucking must now, and anything that this has become like my main instrument for anything. And I've been recording with it for a while, but like the video release is the thing that makes it official, if you will. And so hold on. So who's talking to me? Oh, yeah. So like, this guitar was provided to me from Japan by Arya. Shout out to Kazu. Kazu was so nice to me, so kind, and like we had a bunch of issues with customs, and Kazu was so supportive and so helpful, and really getting this to me. Like, I really appreciate it. And right out of like, as soon as I took it out of the case, it was like, all right, this is the best guitar I've ever played in my life. Like, no questions asked. It's like, I thought I had a pretty decent instrument, and then like I played this, and it's like, oh, okay, this is what a guitar should feel like. This is what it should sound like, and like it's just fucking unbelievable. And it's basically like a telly, like, just if you know me, you know I like the tellies, but it's basically just like a telly with a bunch of quality of life improvements. So like, for instance, the truss rod adjustment is here with a little wheel, not the fucking Fender 50s dog shit where you like have to unscrew the neck. No, like the little wheel thing. This thing, fucking like, I love this. Like, this is the best thing ever. Because like I play with pretty heavy strings. I play pretty hard, and like where I live, there's a lot of like humidity shifts, like a lot of temperature shifts. So like adjusting the truss rod is like, it's like, I don't want to be like exaggerative, but like it's almost a daily thing. You know what I mean? And so having that access here instead of either beneath the neck or at the top, having it just here and you can just stick a fucking rod in it and just it's such an improvement, and I can't imagine like having an instrument like in the future. I can't imagine having any instrument that doesn't have this. Like, it's just like a no-go now that I know fucking how wonderful this is. Second thing, heelless neck joint. As you can see, there's no like plate. It's straight onto the neck, and it's angled for ease of access. to the higher notes, which is great. Like I don't know if you've seen the Bagatellis that much, but they're all usually like the traditional quote unquote telly, or anything that you might get from Fender, or like any like purist kind of brands like that, is very much like, it's very much a block like this, and it's covered with a metal plate, and like you can get to the top of the strings, but like it's definitely not ideal, and it's definitely not made with that in mind. This kind of keeps that slab feeling of a telly. Oh, thank you, Peter, right? Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so like the you get the slab feel of a telly, but it's still got that axis. Short scale. I've tried short scale guitars. Like in fact, my first guitar was an Ibanez with a pretty short scale, like a Gibson. Hi Nate. With a Gibson style, like scale length, and I just it feels like a toy to me. I don't know. I guess because I play bass a lot of the time. I honestly, like, you guys see me a lot with the guitar, but like I spend most of my time playing bass because I find it more fun. But like, yeah, I don't like short scales. I don't like set necks. I like bolt on. Um, I think of it in a very kind of engineering kind of way. I like my 25 and a half scale length or more if you can. You know what I mean? Like if I could, I'll go a little longer. Not like into the baritone area, of course, because I still like my E flat standard, but I, I like them long, I guess. Favorite bassists? Ooh, that's interesting. I like, this is gonna be like a super like generic answer, but Geddy Lee is pretty up there. Uh, Yoshida Ichiro. Um, who else? Who else? Oh man, there's so many. For me, a lot of bass players just kind of like uh kind of blends together into one. So I'm thinking of like ones that stand out. Um, there's the obvious ones like Miyoko, you know what I mean, from Rita Sugure, but like then again, she does it. There's not much from what she does that I actually kind of like. I know the stuff she does, I just don't do it because it's like she does three things, and they're cool things, but they're just those three things. So yeah, Gary Lee, Yoshida Ichiro, and like probably someone like that kind of sucks. Like fucking what's his name? Um, what the fuck is his name? What the fuck is his name? The dude from whatever. Geddy Lee and fucking the other one. The Geddy Lee and what did I say? Yoshida Ichiro. Yeah. Oh, Yuki-san. Arigatou gozaimasu. I don't have a 7 string, and I will never have a 7 string. I hate extended range guitars. They sound like blah, 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 blah. No, Les Claypool sucks. I hate Les. I mean, I don't hate him, but it's like very gimmicky to me. I'll never. I don't like extended range stuff. To me, in fact, if I could, I would probably get rid of the low E and just make it like a 5 string instrument, because like I think in terms of as an engineering thing, as an audio engineering thing, I think it makes more sense to have less low end on the guitar so the bass can take over. And so like the seventh string for me, seven strings, eight strings, they're kind of the antithesis of that, because like they're like, yeah, it goes into the bass register, and it's like, why? What's wrong with doing it on the bass? You know what I mean? It kind of feels kind of pointless to me, and also just cumbersome. I don't see the point. And so, and particularly because I usually like a lot. Yes, I play like guitar like just like this. But like usually I'll be on the capo, so like I'm like actively cutting off the low end physically. You know what I mean? So like why, I don't know why I would want more low end. You know what I mean? Unless I did it like as in a piccolo string, like on top, like a high, I don't know, like a high A on top of the high E. Yeah, I've seen that the Jacob Collier 5 string thing. It looks like, to me, that looks like way more comfy. Because I very rarely use the low E anyway. So yeah. One of my closest friends has a 7 string, and they've had a 7 string for a long time. And at this point, they barely use the 7th string. In fact, um, the like it's just annoying at this point for them. So Gabby, if you're watching, fucking 6 string supremacy. So my friend Gabby went from having a Schecter Omen 7 to Den Electra. You know what I mean? And that's way more my shit. Like, make it sound like a tin can. You know what I mean? I love that. What was the production like for ONSET? Getting location, the choreography, the dancer. Oh, okay. So like, the production was. I was interviewed about it recently, and so like the production was kind of weird, because first and foremost, that song, like the beginning of that song at the very least, was like almost pre cross hatching hologram, like before that album I had already started that song, and I was like, nah, this is too like poppy for my project. And then I was like, I mean, I actually thought about it as like, this is too poppy for Tensio. But then I realized I am Tensio, so I can do whatever the fuck I want. And so I just, after I did cross hatching and after I did trauma, I was like, I'm gonna use this. And so that's where it started, and I was like, all right, let's actually see this through, because like it was just at the time it was just that, just like, and then like that's where it kind of ended, like, and that's it. So I was like, let's actually write a song after that. And so I did. I got like halfway through, like drums, bass, and everything, and I sent that as a demo to the Department of Education and Culture here in Uruguay, as like a because I was part of another project that was doing that, a card game for children. I was doing the design for that, so I was like, well, why don't I do that with my own stuff? And so I did, and I asked for like basically like a government grant to shoot a video, and I won. There was like a bunch of entries, and I happened to win. And so they, like a couple months later, they fucking sent me the money, and with that I was able to hire like a camera crew. I mean, a camera crew is one person, but it's like, you know, and I did it. I had no idea about the dancers at first. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and then I was like, what about dancing? Because like that part is so groovy. Like the like that part, I made it a point to not have guitar in it. I was like, no, it has to be like bass and piano and drums and screaming. Let's just get, because it's like such a weird combination. And so I was like, let's do that. But like the bass, since it's slap bass, it ended up being so fucking like groovy and danceable. So like I was like, my camera guy, he was shooting some videos for this dance crew, Um, and so I connected with them through him, and I showed them the song, and they actually really loved it. And it was kind of like super embarrassing because like I showed them like a demo mix, and I ran it through their like super like super like sub bass heavy stereo, and it sounded like dog shit. They loved it, but I left that place like so embarrassed, like, oh my god, I have to remix this. Like it just sucks. Um, like you know when your face gets all red and shit and hot. Uh, so yeah, but like they loved it, and they agreed to like we're gonna cook something up, and then we're gonna give you like a budget or like how much it will cost you and blah, blah, blah. And then I talked to Eingarden, who's a motion graphics animator. Um, and so like they went to like I sent them a bunch of reference material, the same material that I sent to the dancers, and I was like, here are the lyrics. Do whatever you want with it. Do absolutely anything you might want with it. And I guess a couple months later, I came back with like basically what was the finished product, and it was lovely. It was really really good. And I was like, we're done. We're good. Let's ship it. And that's kind of it. Um, so yeah, that's how that ended there. And then I got some footage from a friend of Gabby called Hamish Campbell. He's a photographer, and he gave me like a little, like a bunch of, not like basically two still shots that I could time lapse basically. And so I edited all that together, and there you go. The video was out. But honestly, if I'm being honest, like the hardest part of all this, was the mixing of the song. I mixed that shit like my partner will tell you. I mixed that shit like I want to say 8 different times from scratch because I was like so unsatisfied, particularly with the bass response and the kick. And it's pretty good now. It's pretty good. I'm not fully satisfied with it, and so like for the album, it's gonna be remixed again. But it's all right. Yeah. Yeah, that was the hardest part. The mastering was just like fucking put a limiter on it and send it. You know what I mean? It's fucking. I didn't even check the LUFS because I think that's kind of snake oil at this point. Anyway. Hey, Corpus. Hi. Arigato. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias. Yuki, make a tablature for the Osakana. Honestly, I doubt it. I'm sorry, I doubt it. Cause like, I didn't. I don't know how I played that at the time. And God knows I don't know how to play that now. It's been like 2 years, 3 years. I know it's 3 years because I had an eating disorder at the time, and that's the time that has gone by since I've gained weight. So that's the way I keep track of time, I guess. Teach myself programming. Good drums. Okay, this is interesting. It's simpler than you think. It's honestly just like listen to drummers. You know what I mean? Like listen to what a drummer is doing. I started as a drummer like when I was 7 years old. I did that for a little bit, and then I was like, actually, my drum teacher got a surgery, and he was like, I can't teach you right now because I can't walk. And then like he got better, but we kind of stopped. Like I was like, he didn't like tell me that he got better, so I just never went again. So that helped me a little bit, like as to like learning what a drum set can do and can't, or like what 2 feet and 2 hands can do at any given time. And beyond that is truly just like listening to a person play and be like, well, kind of like heck, learning to limit yourself in that way. Like you can't do like the hi-hat, like open hi-hat plus two cymbals and a tom at the same time. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. That's what like gives it away. That's what makes it like that's what makes people realize. Like I feel like the human ear has like an incredible discerning power, even if they know it or not. But I think that is a dead giveaway. Like people will immediately be able to tell. And also, honestly, the samples, like whatever the samples that you're using, you want them to be as like shitty as possible, because like I don't know if you've ever worked with real drums, but like the actual raw recordings a lot of the time can be dog shit, like awful, uh, with so much like mic bleed. So like the hi-hat does have the hi-hat mostly, like the hi-hat mic is picking up mostly the hi-hat, yes, but it's also picking up like the toms, the anything that's around it. You know what I mean? And you can't gate that because that's what's gonna make it look unrealistic, make it sound unrealistic, I guess. And so gotta keep track of that. Gotta make sure you have a room track where all the fucking every single piece of the drum kit is going, and you just like fucking add a room effect to it. Unless you're like the application you're using already has a room like track. There you go. Just use that. You know what I mean? But don't stick too much to the grid. Only when you have to, like when like to the metronome click track grid, whatever. Most of the time when I do like snare rolls and that kind of stuff, I go like I place them correctly, like correctly, quote unquote, like on the grid, like perfectly, and then I fuck around with the velocity. Like if you think of a drum roll, you have to understand like some hits are gonna be lighter than others. Particularly like one hand is gonna be heavier than the other. So like every other hit of the drum roll is gonna be a little stronger. And so you do that, and then you kind of pull it back a little bit because the nature of a drum roll means that the drummer would be rushing a little bit because like they just get excited like that because they're like cavemen, and you just gotta imitate that. You know what I mean? But yeah, honestly, just listening to drummers, and particularly like bad drummers. You know what I mean? Because like an incredibly good drummer is not a great example of how to sound human. You know what I mean? Gotta listen to punk rock drummers. Listen to like early screamo drummers where like even the actual recording of the drums is like not good. And what some of that is what makes it human. So like also like don't be afraid to like distort the drums that you're using, like make them sound like less good because like drum samples usually come like ready, like mix ready, that's what they say, which just means they're very sterile. So don't be afraid to like dirty them up a little bit, you know what I mean, and like fuck them up a little bit. That's what makes it human, because like usually, well, not usually, but a lot of the time recordings, and even the recordings that you like the most, or particularly that I like the most, are like not perfectly recorded, you know what I mean? They're like a little rougher on the edges, and that's what gives it the bite. And so that's what I follow, and that's why my snare sounds like a fucking pot. You know what I mean? Like a pong. Me and my friends call it the pang. It's just a bunch of harmonics, like an out of tune snare basically, and a bunch of like buzz. Yeah, so there's a bunch of variables, but like that's mostly it. Like fuck around with it. Make sure that it sticks to humanity's limits, unless you want to subvert that on purpose after you know what a human can do. And distort it. Yeah. Are there ways to use your songs for outside works, or is that not possible? You can. Yes, you can. They're not royalty free, of course. But depends on what you're talking about. Like if you're talking about broadcast, you absolutely can, but you have to access it through an audio library. I'm on ASCAP. I used to be on Nagalu, but like Nagalu doesn't fucking. It gave me like cumulatively like $5 or less, so I was like, I'm not doing this. So yeah, You can, but there's no guarantee that you won't get like content ID. Uh, so if it's something that you want to monetize, probably want to check that with me first. But if it's something that's just for fun, there should be no issue. Because I do get notified of that shit, but I usually let it slide because it's like I just like seeing people use my stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's nice. Like it's like I see it as like a kind of an exchange. Like I made this thing and I put it out into the void, and it's kind of nice to see someone liking it so much that they want to use it on something of their own. So yeah, I don't have an issue with that. You can totally do that, unless you're trying to monetize it. Because if you monetize it, that it's not necessarily my choice. Because since I'm registered on ASCAP, they're just gonna automatically detect it and like give me a percentage. Honestly, if you want to do that, that'd be great. I could always use a little bit of extra, like fucking a little extra cash. But in general terms, it's fine. Just do whatever. Yeah, that's about it. But yeah, so just wanted to thank you all for sticking around to like coming to the. Thank you for coming to the video release, and it's a music video release. And so yeah, this guitar. I wanted to talk about this guitar for a little bit, as I was. I guess I didn't finish talking about it, and I'm gonna finish talking about it because I love it. So yeah, this is an Aria Nashville 615 GH. GH like George Harrison. Because it's not rosewood, God forbid, because that would be like heavy as fuck. If it's a short/feature film, I'm gonna need the cue sheet. You're gonna need a cue sheet, and as long as you submit that to the appropriate distributor, everything should be fine. Because I'm on ASCAP, okay? So like, you can though. You should probably email me about it, just to be sure. But like, it should be fine. But yeah, the guitar. There's an Aria Pro 2 Nashville 615 GH. 615 is their their representation of a tele style, T style Telecaster, whatever you want to call it. And so yeah, the good. I mean, there's plenty of good things about this. It's made to look like the George Harrison Telecaster from '69. Which is to say rosewood, but this is just a rosewood top, and I think it's an alder body, or it could be a maple. I don't know. But yeah, it's like lighter than rosewood basically, which is great. And it's nice and bound. Unfortunately, like it came with a chip in the finish, but like since everything that I touch breaks, I'm just keeping this as like a memento of like the struggle. But yeah, it's rosewood top, bound, polyurethane. It's got a comfort carve here, neck, like heelless neck joint, as I said, like for easier access. Like you don't get this in a regular like Telecaster, like traditional style. Truss rod adjustment here, which is amazing. I love this shit. This is my favorite thing in the world. Yeah. The neck is roasted maple, and fucking rosewood fretboard, which is great because I've learned that I'm not a big fan of maple. Even though like most of my instruments have a maple fretboard, I don't like it that much, and so like for me, I've realized that I tend to gravitate towards like the open grain of like a rosewood or like an ebony, even, and sorry. I installed the strap locks on it because you might have realized that I fucking flail around a lot, so I don't want this darling to be falling. And the best thing about this one, out of everything, even though it's like that. All of that is already amazing. Um, Middle pickup here, middle pickup. And so this is a Nashville. So if you're familiar with the Fender stuff, Nashville just means it's a telly with a middle pickup. So like when the tone pot is like pushed in, it's a regular telly. So like this neck right here. Middle is the bridge and the neck at once. Then of course this like down is a bridge, just a bridge, which I rarely use. I think it sounds like dog shit. Like not in the sense that this guitar sounds like it's like I hate telly bridge pickups in general. I never use them. But oh god, I had cramp on my arm. Anyway, so yeah, like, and now if you pull the tone pot, you get, first of all, the middle position, instead of being these two, it's just this pickup, and just like a new sound. And then this is these two combined, and if you go down, is these two combined. What gives it that fucking like kind of like out of phase sound that's like kind of quacky. Dude, I hate Pens Plus. But yeah, it's like perfect. I didn't know how much I wanted that sound, like that quacky kind of Strat sound, until I had it, and I was like, oh my god, I can never go back. So yeah, like this is my darling. Like now, this is the best thing I've ever had. The best instrument I've ever had, at least. No, probably the best thing I've ever had. And so like, and the best part is like I am endorsed by Aria, so this was given to me. So it's like it's an honor, really. And again, as I said, like thank you, Kazu, for like sticking by me, and like what was like I want to say like a 4-month ordeal to get this to me, because like of my customs being all corrupt. But it's like it was truly kind of love at first play, at least not even because I had seen it already, but like the moment I grabbed it, I was like, oh yeah, okay, this is what a guitar is supposed to be. You know what I mean? And so like this has been my main. Like even if I wasn't like endorsed by it, I'd be like, I would buy this just to have it because it's so nice. And I don't know if this is like a coincidence or whatever, but it came like when I got it out of the box, it was tuned to E flat instead of E standard, which I was like, yay, because I usually tune to E flat, and so I was like, did they know? Probably not, but it was just like a nice little extra coincidence. And then I immediately sent, like I was in my PJs, but when it arrived, I immediately sent a picture to Kazu through email, just like, it arrived, and this is me just smiling with my PJs and the guitar in my hand. So yeah, this thing is like as close to perfect as like I could get for my needs, aside from like having like a custom. You know what I mean? This is amazing, and I'm so happy with it. I'm so fortunate. I'm so thankful to everyone at Aria for believing in me in that way. So I'm gonna make a couple posts about it, and I'm gonna make a proper video on this guitar because I think it's great, and I think you should know more about it, because I think Aria, like because I don't know if you know the story. The Aria was like one of the earliest kind of guitar manufacturers in Japan. They started making classical guitars and like gypsy guitars and that kind of stuff as Arai. And then when like the Les Paul was kind of becoming a thing, they started making like their own version of the Les Paul, which is like just like a kind of a better version of the Les Paul with like higher fret access and a little more contour, and a prettier headstock, honestly. And then they were the ones that like did the, for the, I don't know how, like, and how many decades anniversary of the Ventures. You know, the ones that did like the, what was it? That shit. They're like 8 million years old. They did that. They did the Mosrite clones basically for the Ventures, and that would be their DM series. Um, and so like, but after that they kind of like became inactive for a little bit, but now they're like back on it, and they're making all these kind of wonderful instruments, and they're kind of pretty affordable. Like, they're like not a bank breaker. They do have a custom shop, but like for the production models, it's pretty reasonable of a price, you know what I mean? And they're amazing. They're so good. They're like everything is great. Like the frets are perfect. Everything is like just perfect. And I couldn't think of a better like brand to be associated with, in the sense that it's like it's affordable, and I like affordable. They're from Japan, and I like Japanese music, and they make this, which is like the perfect tool for me. Um, and so the fact that we could kind of like, I don't know what you would call it. The fact that we kind of shake hands like that, it was just like, yeah, kind of like it just feels nice, you know? It feels really good. And so I'll be making a video on this, because that's also why you see me playing it on the music video. But I'll be making a video about this soon and show you what it sounds like. Because it sounds really, really, really good. And just wanted to thank everyone again for sticking by to watch the video. And not only to watch the videos, just sticking by me, honestly, for so many years. Because like I see a bunch of new people. I've seen a bunch of new people recently, but I also see a bunch of familiar faces, and that feels nice, you know. Like I'm not gonna start naming you all, but like just know that I see you. You know what I mean? And I've seen you, and I appreciate that you still, no matter, like, honestly, no matter what I do, it seems like you still believe in me. Because that's when I make music, that's the thing that I'm the most worried about. I'm like, because I'm a little bit attention starved. Like I just found that out by myself a couple of years ago. And so like when I make music, when I started making music, it was not for anyone but myself, you know. But as I grew a little bit and I started getting a bit of an audience, not to say that I have a fucking shit ton of people, but as I grew a little bit of an audience, I started kind of second guessing my artistic decisions as like, are they gonna like it? You know what I mean? Am I gonna lose them, and that kind of stuff, which is like pretty bad to think about, because I'm associating my self-worth with like what I make. But I took the plunge, and I've honestly been doing whatever I want, and a lot of you seem to still respond to it and still like it, and still kind of, you still seem to have my back, and I don't take that for granted. It gives me a little bit a sense of safety, because at the end of the day, this is my job, and like it just kind of, it's a little validating emotionally, but also just gives me the security that I've always kind of dreamed of, in the sense of like, oh, people still like me even if I change a little bit, even if I do something a little different. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like a lightning in a bottle situation where you just like found, I don't know, cross hatching, and you're like, I like this, but like, because like a lot of the people who like cross hatching also like trauma, and trauma sounds probably nothing like cross hatching. And it's the same with the previous to the previous releases, and you all seem to like this one as well, and I'm really glad, because it's it is separate from me, but I put a lot of me in it, and I put a lot of me in all of my music. And so for you to respond to it means honestly kind of the world to me. So yeah, I appreciate that a lot, and I don't take it for granted. But I'm glad that I have it because it allows me to, I guess, explore and play around a little bit, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna sign off with that. 'Cause I'm hungry. But yeah, thank you very much again. It means the world to me. Goodbye.